All right, Shalom. It's your brother Koshquala coming back at you with another swift lesson in the spirit, giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Achakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace of salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. All right, so today's topic is going to be a pretty quick lesson, but just getting the understanding of, we're still going at it with Amalek. Now, I've seen a lot of live streams, watched a lot of live streams, seen a lot of videos, centered and pertained around the topic of this Kanye West or Ye, whatever he wants to be called, situation going on. This man used to be a billionaire, but now Adidas. I think he was with Gap. Um, a few other companies have denounced him. Certain athletes are denouncing themselves from Donda Sports, and he's losing money um, by the minute. He went from a billionaire down to a 400. He's worth $400 million now. So his endorsements and everything is being lost simply because these Amalekites say that he is saying anti-Semitic, you know, words, phrases, sentences, whatever you want to call them. Therefore, he's getting blackballed in the industry at the moment. Now we all understand, and us as men with a keen sense of spiritual discernment, we understand that first we don't give a shit about Kanye because first off, Kanye is doing certain things that requires the job of a prophet, and he is not qualified to be as such. Even though in some of his interviews he will call himself a prophet, and things of that nature. We also know he's just a puppet that the media or the elite, whatever, are using to further a different alternative agenda that they really want to bring. They're just using Jake to humiliate because, again, we're at war with these Edomites. All right, through the spirit, we're at war. Okay, that's why I say through the spirit, because war to a Edomite is, guns and bombs and things of that nature. No, that's not how we fight. How spiritual Israelites fight the war. You know, we fight it in the spiritual sense. So we understand what's going on. Esau is starting to attack free speech because he learned that he fucked up there by letting men like ourselves be on the highways and byways, make YouTube pages, and get this truth going worldwide at this point. The truth is out there. People know who's the devil. It's about to make it real clear who is the devil. You know? So, matter of fact, I'm going to get Exodus 17 real quick. Exodus 17 and 16. It says, "For he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. And best believe them generations to generations hasn't ended quite yet. Okay? We're just a generation fighting a different war, a different form or fashion of war than what it was in the ancient time. Hand-to-hand combat was back then, during the time of Exodus and things of that nature, during the ancient times. All right? We're in a different style of war now, where war can be conducted through media, war can be conducted physically, of course, war can be conducted through words, pencil pushing, laws and legislations. All right. War can be conducted on different many fronts in the time that we live in today. You even have something called a Twitter war, where people have a war of words through Twitter. You see what I'm saying? There's different forms and fashions and makes of war. You have things called proxy wars, you know, uh, um, things called cold wars, you know, stuff like that. All right. There's plenty of different type of wars that have arise throughout these generations. We're just in a more modernized fashion of war, you could say, in a more, for us, a more spiritual fashion of war, because we don't have a, physical power to even combat with any nation. All right. We're literally, Israel is literally the only nation, and I'm not talking about that fake Israel shit created in 1948. Okay. I'm talking about I'm talking about the spiritual Israelites, okay? Which come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? I'm talking about that world of Israelites. Or we fight a spiritual battle. All right? We can't fight that. We're the only nation that don't got, a standing military. Is what I was trying to say. Like all these other nations do when they come to a G20 summit and talk about world issues. We're not included in that. We're not included in that. So we do our own thing, okay, through the Spirit, and we know the Lord's working with us. So it says, Exodus 17 and 16, for he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So knowing that we're in war, okay, don't be surprised that Amalek is going to do some slick shit. Amalek's trying to do some slick shit right now. I mean, but we peep it. We understand what's going on. All right. It may be a vague understanding. Some brothers may have a detailed understanding. But the gist of it all, we all get it. And we know what's going on. All right. Okay. It's something called chess. Amalek makes his move. All right. We just sit back and watch the Lord make his move. Because whatever move he's making was orchestrated by the Lord anyway. All right. And whatever move he makes is getting closer to this parable that is spoken here in Numbers 24 and 20 that reads, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, okay, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. So Amalek was first of the nations, meaning who came out the womb first? All right, because when you go into, the history of it, there was two manner of nations in the mother's womb, okay, Israel and Edom. But who came out first? He was the first of the nations, okay. But who held his heel when he was coming out? The Israelites. It says, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Right. And what did the blessing say? That the elder shall serve the younger. All right. And we understand what the book of Obadiah says. We understand what the book of Job says. After you serve your sentence in slavery, you're going to be burnt up and perish forever. All right. And we're going to see no more trace of it, of an Edomite. So you can do all your little antics, talk your shit, use Jake, to paint a picture that free speech really isn't free. Whatever the fuck you want to do. And of course, it's not your job to, and I'm speaking to Amalek, or these Edomites, it's not your job to sit here and correct Jake. That's not your job. That's not even your nation. What you need to do is correct your own people. Okay? Which, of course, we all know is not going to happen. Y'all are proud and idiotic. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Now I'm insulting you. You're proud and you're idiotic nation and individuals. Okay? Y'all don't work together. Y'all don't even work well with yourselves. Shit. You don't even work well by yourself in your own damn room. Let alone be in cahoots with one another in your own nation. You see what I'm saying? You spend all day and night figuring out how to try to put down another nation when you should be worried about how to run a kingdom, how you should run a kingdom. You're too worried about another nation instead of worrying about your own kingdomship. You know you're in rulership right now, Esau, right? Because it damn sure don't seem like it. You're running amok. It's terrible. It's horrid. And the Lord's going to destroy it. All right? I'm speaking straight to you, Edomites. You dukes of Edom, spoken about in Genesis the 36th chapter. You dukes of Edom, Teman, Amalek, all of you, Kanaz, all of you. Okay? All right? So, of course, us brothers, I'm speaking to the choir. Don't be marveled at what this hook-nosed bastard, because that's what he is, an illegitimate child, because the Lord hated him according to the scripts. All right? Don't worry about this hook-nosed bastard on the things that he says and what he does. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it's going to bring him to his own demise. We always bring up the Haman the Agagite, how all his plans turned right back to him. It's exactly what's happening now. Exactly what's happening now. Okay? And that's exactly what the Lord did. That's exactly what the Lord did. I was gonna say to the Edomites, but he did that to the Egyptians. Okay, back when we were in slavery during the time of Exodus. Matter of fact, I'm in Exodus. Okay, so Exodus 1, and I'm gonna close it out on this Exodus just to prove the point that the Lord's gonna turn it right back around. But first, let me get this. Deuteronomy 30:7, a classic. It says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." So all the things that they done to us is going to turn around and be done to them. This is Exodus 1:22. It says, "And Pharaoh charges all his people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive." So pretty much what Pharaoh was saying here is, you gonna kill all these Israelites' firstborn son, okay? And let's see what happened. Let's see what happened to them. How the Lord switched it up on their ass, okay? And go into Wisdom of Solomon. All right, Wisdom of Solomon 18. Wisdom of Solomon 18:5. It says, "When they had determined to slay the babes of the saints." Who were the saints? The elected, chosen of Israel. And during that time, the Lord chose all of Israel. So during that time, all of Israel was the elect. All right? Hear me out. Because the Lord saved all Israel during that time. Now, the time that we're in now, the saints are the 144. So correct way to break that down is the 144. Now, if you really want to say it, well, yeah, to say it correctly, the 144 were already in that number of everyone he saved in Egypt anyway during that Exodus. The 144 were included in that number, but he did save all Israel that time around. This time around ain't gonna be like that. It says one child being cast forth, which we understand who that one child was. That was Moses. He says, and saved, because what? They're throwing all the babies in the river. All right, but who's the one who got saved? Moses. It says, to prove them, thou tookest away the multitude of their children, or to reprove them, that took away the multitude of the children and destroys them altogether in a mighty water. Right. So he saved Moses, who ended up saving Israel, which the Lord ended up, Egypt was throwing our firstborn sons into the Nile River, right? And then what did the Lord do to the Nile River? He made it blood, all right, which was their main source of water. So he turned it right back on their ass, all right? He turned it right back on their ass. And then also ultimately destroyed them with water when they went to go chase them, when Moses parted the sea. You see what I'm saying? So this is a prime example how the Lord turned everything back against a people that persecuted the Israelites. And it's the same thing that's going to happen to these pasty Edomite crackers, man. I'm going to say it just like that. So I'm going to end it right there. Don't be surprised what Amalek's doing. We're in war. It's just their move they're making, which is not surprising at all. We still have The sea hip. These are prophecies, big prophets, three big prophecies. The sea hip, famine of the word, and Jacob's trouble coming. Okay? Three big major prophecies. You know? So Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem HaChakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace up, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit, Brother Kachqual. Until the next time, we'll say shalom. And like always, repent, for Yahweh Shai is coming back sooner than what me and you believed. Shalom.